Jack stumbled out of his wrecked spaceship, wiping sweat from his brow as he took in the alien jungle around him. The air was heavy with humidity, and the strange cries of creatures echoed in the distance. The plants seemed alive, almost playful. One puffed a cloud of glittering spores directly into his face. He coughed and swatted at it, muttering, "This is just great. Stranded in an intergalactic fever dream." As he fiddled with a handheld scanner to assess the damage to his ship, a deep, resonant voice rang out from behind him. "You trespass on sacred hunting grounds, human!" Jack turned slowly, his eyes widening at the imposing figure in front of him. She was tall, with skin that shimmered like metallic bronze, and her eyes glowed faintly green. She wore a mix of armor and organic materials, with a large, intricate chalice strapped to her belt. Her posture screamed authority, though the way her mandibles twitched gave her an oddly expressive look. Hi," Jack said cautiously, raising his hands. "I'm just passing through. You know, crashed spaceship, bad luck, the usual." The alien huntress stepped closer, her gaze scanning him with an intensity that made Jack want to shrink into the ground. "Passing through?" she repeated, her voice laced with skepticism. "No one passes through the hunting moons of Lzekna." Before Jack could respond, a nearby plant exploded in a spray of purple mist, and the huntress leaped into action. She pulled out a sleek, glowing spear and hurled it into the trees, where a massive, multi-limbed beast tumbled out, dead on impact. The huntress let out a triumphant roar, then turned back to Jack, chest heaving. "Right," Jack said, swallowing nervously. "You're good at this whole hunting thing. I'll just stay out of your way." She tilted her head, eyes narrowing. "Not so fast. What is that liquid falling from your face?" "What, this?" Jack wiped his forehead. "It's sweat. Humans sweat when we're stressed. Or hot. Or both." The huntress's mandibles twitched again, and Jack couldn't tell if it was amusement or confusion. "Sweat," she repeated, as though testing the word. As she spoke, Jack absent-mindedly flicked a droplet off his hand. It arced through the air and landed, unfortunately, in her chalice. Her entire body froze, her eyes locking on the drop as it slid down the side of the vessel. For a moment, the jungle fell eerily silent. Then she gasped, clutching the chalice as if it were made of starlight. "The prophecy," she whispered. Jack blinked. "Prophecy? What prophecy?" She held the chalice high, her voice booming. "The one who fills the chalice with their essence shall be my eternal mate, and the savior of my people." "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Jack waved his hands frantically. "That wasn't essence, it was sweat. Literal sweat. Not whatever you're thinking." But the huntress was already on her knees, bowing before him. "Chosen one," she declared solemnly. "You have honored me beyond words. I pledge my life to you from this day forth." Jack gawked at her. "Lady, I think there's been a massive cultural misunderstanding here." She ignored him, rising to her full height and gesturing grandly. "We must begin the bonding rituals immediately. Come, we will howl to the moons and feast on the flesh of beasts to solidify our union." "Howl to the what?" "No! I'm not howling at anything." The huntress leaned closer, her glowing eyes narrowing. "Do you reject the ancient rites of your kind?" "My kind doesn't have ancient rites," Jack shot back. "We have beer, pizza, and bad reality TV." Her mandibles twitched again, and this time Jack was pretty sure it was amusement. "Then I shall learn these human rituals," she said, voice dripping with determination. "But first, we must seal the prophecy." Jack took a step back, hands up. "Let's not seal anything. In fact, let's just unseal whatever this is. I've got a spaceship to fix and a planet to leave, so—" "You cannot leave," she interrupted, her tone serious. "You are bound to me now. To abandon me is to invite dishonor upon us both." "Us? There's no us." She ignored his protests, lifting the chalice and taking a reverent sip of its contents. Her eyes widened, and she let out a low growl, her body visibly shivering. "Your essence," she murmured, "is potent." Jack groaned, rubbing his temples. It's sweat. Stop calling it essence. This can't get any weirder. Just then, a bird-like creature swooped down and perched on his shoulder, chirping loudly. The huntress's eyes lit up. The jungle itself acknowledges your status. Truly, you are chosen. Jack looked at the bird, then back at her. I hate this planet. Jack sat cross-legged by the fire Xarna had built, still trying to wrap his head around the situation. She paced back and forth with purpose, muttering something about sacred rituals and preparations. He took a cautious sip from a steaming bowl of something that resembled soup but tasted alarmingly like liquefied grasshoppers. So, just to clarify, Jack began, setting the bowl down. This prophecy of yours, it's not optional. Xarna stopped pacing, fixing him with an intense stare. The prophecy is absolute. You, human, are now my chosen one. Your essence, your sweat, has bound us in a sacred union. The bond cannot be broken. Right, Jack said, leaning back on his elbows. But what exactly does this bond entail? Like, do I get benefits? A union card? Free dental? She frowned, clearly missing the joke. The bond is a connection of spirit and body. It must be honored through the ritual of joining. Jack groaned, running a hand through his hair. Of course it does. What's the ritual of joining? Wait, no, don't answer that. I don't want to know. Ignoring him, Xarna reached into a pouch and pulled out a bundle of glowing moss. She began smearing it on her face in intricate patterns. We will start with the howling. The what now? Jack blinked. The howling, she repeated, as if it were the most obvious thing in the universe. It is a human mating ritual, yes? I have seen the ancient transmissions. Humans gather under moons and howl to signify readiness to bond. Jack smacked his forehead. Lady, that's werewolves. Fictional creatures. Not humans. But she was already tilting her head back and letting out a guttural, throaty howl that echoed through the jungle. Nearby creatures joined in, their calls creating an unholy symphony. Jack couldn't decide if he wanted to laugh or cry. Great, he muttered. Now the local wildlife thinks we're having a karaoke night. Xarna lowered her head, her face alight with pride. You must join in, chosen one. It is tradition. Hard pass, Jack said, waving her off. She crouched in front of him, her glowing patterns casting strange shadows across her face. Do you defy our bond so soon? Are you not honored by this sacred rite? Jack sighed heavily. Look, I'll do the howling. But only if you promise not to bring up this joining thing again for at least an hour. She nodded solemnly. Agreed. Reluctantly, Jack tilted his head back and gave his best attempt at a howl. It came out more like a yawn mixed with a cough, but it seemed to satisfy Xarna. She clapped her hands together and exclaimed, Excellent! You are a natural. Yeah, I'm really nailing this alien bonding stuff. Jack deadpanned. Xarna moved on to the next part of the ritual, rolling in the dirt. She flopped onto the ground with enthusiasm, covering herself in a layer of dust and debris. Join me, chosen one! It is a gesture of unity. Jack stared at her, then down at his already filthy clothes. Why not? Can't get any dirtier than I already am. He flopped onto his back, rolling half-heartedly while muttering. This is my life now. Dirt therapy with a warrior alien bride. When Xarna finally deemed the ritual complete, she sat beside him, her expression softening. You are strange, human, but you have spirit. I chose well. Jack laughed under his breath. Yeah, I'm a real catch. Too bad this prophecy thing is a one-sided deal. Her brow furrowed. You do not feel the bond? I feel tired, dirty, and slightly traumatized, Jack said. Is that close? Xarna studied him for a moment, then nodded as if this were a perfectly acceptable response. You will come to understand in time. The bond is eternal. Jack lay back and stared at the alien sky, muttering to himself. I need to get off this planet. The jungle clearing was buzzing with energy, and Jack was quickly realizing his new title as Chosen One came with some unwanted baggage. Xarna had gathered a small crowd, other alien huntresses, each more intimidating than the last. Their sleek armor gleamed in the sunlight, and their weapons bristled with deadly intent. Jack leaned toward Xarna, whispering, Why are there so many people here? Did you throw a party without telling me? Xarna crossed her arms proudly. They are challengers, chosen one. Word of the prophecy has spread, and others seek to test your worth. Test my worth? Jack echoed, his voice rising. I'm not signing up for some intergalactic obstacle course. One of the challengers stepped forward, a tall alien with silver scales and a blade that seemed to hum with energy. I am Raketh, warrior of the 7th clan, she announced. I challenge the chosen one to prove his strength. Jack threw his hands up. Okay, first of all, I didn't agree to any of this. Second, what kind of test are we talking about? Arm wrestling? Sudoku? Because I'm not exactly the gladiator type. Raketh tilted her head, clearly unimpressed. He speaks much for one so fragile-looking. Hey, Jack shot back. Fragile is a relative term. Compared to a space tank, sure. Compared to your average accountant? I'm Hercules. Xarna stepped in, her posture defensive. The chosen one's strength is not measured by crude displays of violence. His essence is what matters. Jack groaned. Can we stop using the word essence? It sounds weirdly personal. Another challenger, a shorter alien with glowing blue markings, piped up. If not strength, then perhaps endurance. Let us see how long the chosen one can withstand the trial of resilience. Trial of resilience? Jack repeated warily. Before anyone could explain, Xarna turned to him, her eyes gleaming. You will do this, chosen one. Show them your unmatched human tenacity. Jack pinched the bridge of his nose. I don't like the sound of this, but fine. What's the trial? Moments later, Jack found himself tied to a strange alien beast, a cross between a llama and a lizard, with far too many legs. The goal, apparently, was to hold on while it tried to buck him off. This is insane! Jack yelled as the creature launched into a frenzy, twisting and thrashing. I didn't sign up to be an alien rodeo clown! The crowd cheered, though their cheers sounded suspiciously like mocking laughter. Xarna, however, looked genuinely impressed. You are doing well, chosen one. Such spirit! Jack clung to the beast for dear life, muttering to himself. Spirit? Sure. Let's call it that. Spirit, desperation, and a death wish. Finally, the creature calmed, and Jack tumbled to the ground in an undignified heap. He groaned, waving a hand in the air. Can we call that a win? I'm still alive, so I'm taking it. The challengers seemed reluctantly impressed, and one of them even offered a grudging nod. Perhaps the chosen one is not as weak as he appears. Thanks, Jack said dryly, dusting himself off. High praise coming from the peanut gallery. But the peace was short-lived. Another challenger stepped forward, holding a strange, glowing orb. Very well. Let us test his intelligence. If he truly is the chosen one, he must solve the riddle of the spheres. Jack stared at the orb, then at Xarna. Please tell me this is just an alien version of a Rubik's Cube. Xarna gave him a look that suggested it was anything but simple. You will succeed, she said firmly. Your human intellect is unmatched. Jack took the orb, studying its swirling patterns. Unmatched, huh? Great. No pressure. As he fumbled with the puzzle, the crowd watched in tense silence. Every time he made a mistake, the orb emitted a loud, judgmental buzz. After several agonizing minutes, Jack finally managed to align the glowing spheres into their correct positions. The orb lit up, and the crowd erupted into cheers. Jack held the orb aloft, grinning despite himself. That's right, folks! Human ingenuity for the win! Xarna clapped him on the shoulder, nearly knocking him over. You have proven yourself, chosen one. None can question your worth now. Jack laughed weakly. Glad to hear it. Now can we please skip the next round of let's see how much the human can suffer? By the time Jack had been through his third bizarre trial, He was starting to feel like the universe was playing some cruel, cosmic joke on him. Each challenge was more ridiculous than the last. The latest one involved him balancing on one leg while reciting ancient alien poetry in a language he couldn't even begin to understand. "That's it," Jack muttered under his breath, wobbling dangerously on one foot. "I'm about to snap. This is the dumbest thing I've ever done." Xarna was watching him closely, her eyes gleaming with pride. "You are strong, chosen one. Endurance and wisdom are the foundations of your species. The trials must be passed to prove your worth." "Yeah, well, if you're proving my worth means making me look like a circus act, I'm not impressed," Jack said, clutching his head with both hands. "I'm about one more challenge away from just throwing myself into a volcano." He lost his balance mid-sentence and crashed to the ground, narrowly avoiding a direct faceplant. The alien challengers roared with laughter, but Xarna just clapped her hands and grinned. "You are doing better than most would, chosen one. The trials are not easy." Jack's response was less than gracious. "Yeah, no kidding. Are these trials supposed to break me down or make me want to cry? Because I'm already there." One of the challengers, a tall, horned alien with a wicked-looking staff, spoke up. "We have seen enough, Xarna. This human is weak, unworthy of the prophecy. He has failed our trials." Xarna's eyes flashed. "You are mistaken. The Chosen One has proven himself time and time again. His strength is not in his body but in his spirit." "Spirit?" Jack barked. "Are we talking about my essence again? Because let me tell you something, my spirit is about ready to call it quits. I'm pretty sure my essence is made of pure exhaustion at this point." The crowd grew silent as Xarna stepped toward him, her gaze softening. "You have much more strength than you know, Chosen One. But you must learn to trust in the bond. You are part of this now, and it is not just about surviving these trials. It is about us, about the bond we share." Jack rubbed his temples, trying to process everything. "So, let me get this straight. I'm stuck here with you, doing these weird alien rituals, because some ancient prophecy says I'm the key to your survival?" "Yes," Xarna replied. "You are the one who will help save our species." "Right," Jack muttered, his sarcasm clearly evident. "That sounds totally reasonable. Just a normal Tuesday for me." Another challenger, a smaller alien with shimmering purple skin, interrupted. "Enough talking. The Chosen One has not proven his worth. He must face the trial of fire." Jack froze. "Trial of fire? Does it involve actual fire?" The challenger nodded gravely. "It does." Jack's face paled. "Great. Another life-threatening event. Is it too much to ask for a nap? Maybe a sandwich?" "No?" "Okay, fire it is." They led him to a clearing where a massive pit had been dug, and at the bottom of the pit, a ring of fire was blazing. The heat was intense, and the smell of burning wood filled the air. Jack took one look at the pit and started backing away. "I've had enough of this!" Jack shouted. "I'm not jumping into a flaming pit for your entertainment, Xarna. This is insanity." Xarna's voice was low but firm. "You are not just doing this for us, Chosen One. You are doing it for the future. Your essence is crucial to our survival." Jack turned toward her, his eyes wide with frustration. "What is it with you and essence? I don't even know what that means. I'm just trying to survive, and you're over here acting like I'm some chosen messiah or something." Xarna's expression softened, and she took a step closer to him. "You do not understand, but you will. The bond is not just about survival, it is about us, about our people. You will learn in time." Jack looked into her eyes, feeling a strange mix of irritation and something else. Despite his annoyance, despite the absurdity of the whole situation, there was something oddly comforting about her presence. He wasn't sure if it was the sheer force of her belief in this bond or if it was the fact that he hadn't had anyone believe in him like this in a long time. "Fine," Jack grumbled, taking a deep breath. "I'll jump into the fire. But if I get singed, I'm suing you for emotional distress." Xarna smiled, really smiled, and for a moment, Jack forgot about the blazing pit and the trials. "You will be fine," she said, her voice filled with confidence. "The bond will protect you." Jack raised an eyebrow. "So now the prophecy says I'm immune to fire? Great. I'm officially a walking miracle." "Your essence is more than you know," Xarna said quietly. With one last skeptical glance at the pit, Jack took a running leap and jumped into the fire. As he fell, he braced for impact, but to his surprise the flames didn't burn him. Instead, a wave of warmth seemed to envelop him as if the fire itself had recognized his presence. He landed in the center of the pit, unscathed, and stood there, bewildered. He looked up at Xarna, who was watching him with awe in her eyes. "Well," Jack said, still trying to make sense of what had just happened. "That was anticlimactic. I was expecting to be on fire by now." "You have done it," Xarna whispered. "The bond has protected you." Jack blinked in disbelief. "Yeah, well, I'm not sure how much I believe in this bond, but I'm open to being surprised." Xarna reached down to help him out of the pit, her grip strong and steady. "There is more to come, Chosen One. The trials are not over, but you have proven your worth. You are the one who will help us survive." Jack smirked. "If by survive you mean get through one more trial without losing my mind, then sure, I'm your guy." The flames swirled around Jack, their heat searing against his skin, but to his shock, they didn't harm him. It was as if the fire itself respected his presence, or perhaps some invisible force had shielded him. For a moment, Jack felt weightless, as if the entire universe was holding its breath. He landed lightly on the other side of the pit, his heart racing from the rush. Xarna, standing at the edge, was watching him with an intensity that bordered on awe. "You did it!" she exclaimed. "You are truly the Chosen One." Jack straightened up, brushing himself off, feeling a rush of adrenaline. "Yeah, no burns, no second-degree anything. I'm starting to think I'm invincible, or maybe you just have terrible fire safety protocols." The crowd of challengers exchanged looks, whispering among themselves. Some seemed genuinely impressed, while others looked slightly less sure. But the fire trial was over, and Jack had passed, much to his own surprise. He wasn't sure if he was relieved or disappointed. "So, what's next? Some kind of dance-off? Maybe a pie-eating contest?" Jack asked sarcastically, wiping some imaginary dust off his clothes. Xarna ignored the humor in his voice. "Now, Chosen One, you must face the final trial. You must take the oath of the bond." Jack raised an eyebrow. "Oath of the bond? Does this involve me signing anything? Because I don't exactly have a pen on me." "No pen is required," Xarna said solemnly. "You will swear your loyalty to the people, to me, and to the prophecy. The bond cannot be broken. Once you take the oath, you will forever be tied to us." Jack's stomach sank as he considered the implications. "So, this is like a lifelong commitment? I thought I was just here for a few days, figuring out how to get back to my ship." "The oath is not just a commitment to us, but to the future," Xarna insisted. "You will guide us, protect us, and help us survive. The universe has chosen you, Chosen One." Jack ran a hand through his hair, trying to process everything. "Look, Xarna, I'm flattered that I'm the Chosen One or whatever, but I'm not really sure I'm cut out for this whole savior of a species thing. I've only just gotten my feet wet in all this alien drama, and now you want me to swear an oath?" Xarna took a step closer, her gaze softening. "It is not just about being the savior. The bond is a partnership, Chosen One. You are not alone in this. I will be with you, guiding you through every challenge." Jack's mind raced. The whole concept was foreign to him, but something in Xarna's voice, something in the sincerity of her words, made him pause. Was this really just about saving her people, or was there something more to it? Something that had to do with him? Before he could say anything, another voice broke through his thoughts. "I challenge the Chosen One." It was one of the alien challengers, a fierce-looking creature with large, jagged teeth and an air of superiority. "I will test his resolve, Xarna. He has not proven his worth as a leader." Jack groaned. Not this again. I just passed a fire trial, now I need to pass some kind of leadership test? I've got no experience leading a species. Heck, I can barely lead my own life without messing it up. But Xarna was firm. You must face every trial, chosen one. You cannot back down now. The challenger stepped forward, wielding a long, sharp spear. I propose the trial of strength and wit. You will face me in combat, and we will see if you are worthy to lead. Jack stared at the spear, his eyes narrowing. Oh, great. Combat. I'm really not in the mood for swordplay or whatever this is. He then turned to Xarna, his tone more serious. Can't you just tell them I'm good enough already? I've proven myself, haven't I? Xarna's expression softened. It is not just about passing trials, chosen one. It is about earning respect. The respect of others is the true measure of your worth. Jack rolled his eyes, muttering under his breath. Oh yeah, great. Respect. That's exactly what I'm here for. The challenger lunged forward, and Jack had no choice but to react. He dodged the spear expertly, using a move he'd learned in his years of avoiding danger on the edge of the galaxy. The challenger, taken aback by Jack's agility, grinned and adjusted his stance. Jack, however, wasn't in the mood for a prolonged fight. He lunged toward the challenger, grabbing him by the arm and tossing him to the ground with surprisingly little effort. There. Done. Respect earned. The crowd gasped, and even Xarna looked taken aback. You are faster than I expected, she said, clearly impressed. Jack stood over the fallen alien, hands on his hips. Yeah, well, I didn't get this far by being bad at dodging things. Besides, I'm not exactly interested in being your next champion. I'm just trying to survive this trip. The challenger scrambled to his feet, shaking his head. The chosen one is more skilled than I expected. He has earned his place. Good, Jack said, because I'm done with this. He turned to Xarna, a mixture of exhaustion and frustration in his eyes. Look, I'm just trying to get back to my ship. This whole prophecy thing is nice and all, but I didn't sign up for becoming some kind of intergalactic leader. Xarna's expression softened, and for the first time, she stepped close enough to place a hand on his shoulder. You may not have chosen this, but you are the chosen one. The bond is more than a title, it is something that will connect us forever. Jack looked at her, his heart pounding. I'm not sure I can live up to whatever you expect, Xarna. You do not have to live up to anything, she replied, her voice gentle. You are enough as you are. I chose you because I see what others do not, your strength, your determination. You are the one who will guide us through the future. Jack stood triumphantly over the challenger, but his mind was racing. The trials were over, or so it seemed. He had proven himself in combat, fire and endurance, but there was something that gnawed at him. Something he hadn't figured out yet. Why was he still here? Why had fate chosen him? All he wanted was to get back to his ship, find his way home, and escape this weird alien world. But it wasn't that simple. None of it was. Xarna approached him slowly, her eyes scanning him with an unreadable expression. You have earned respect today, chosen one. You have passed all the trials. Jack rubbed his neck, feeling the weight of her words. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I didn't exactly have a choice in any of this. You all just kept throwing stuff at me like it was a video game. And now, I'm supposed to be your savior? I still don't get it. Xarna's gaze softened. You do not understand yet, but you will. The bond, it is not just about you and me. It is about our species, our survival. You are part of something much greater now. Jack let out a long sigh, his frustration bubbling to the surface. Look, I'm trying to understand, okay? But all this talk about fate, destiny, and essence is really starting to get to me. I'm just a guy who crash-landed here. I didn't ask for any of this. He gestured around the alien landscape with a mixture of bewilderment and exasperation. I just want to get back to Earth, maybe grab a burger, and forget about all of this nonsense. But instead, I'm supposed to be some chosen hero who's tied to your entire species. What does that even mean for me? Xarna's expression shifted. There was a trace of sadness in her eyes, but it was gone as quickly as it came. It means you are the key, chosen one. You have the strength, the power, the will to lead us through the darkness. You are more than just a human. You are the hope of our people. Jack snorted in disbelief. Yeah, I'm sure the whole universe is relying on me, right? I'm just a regular guy with a penchant for getting stuck in weird situations. You really need to lower your expectations. Xarna didn't respond immediately. She stepped closer, her gaze never leaving him. It is not about expectations, Jack. It is about what you are capable of. What you will become. In you, I see the potential to change everything. Her words hung in the air like a heavy fog, and Jack felt his stomach churn. He wasn't sure if it was the weight of what she was saying or just the constant pressure to live up to an ideal that wasn't his own. But one thing was clear, Xarna wasn't just talking about him being the chosen one, in some abstract sense. She was talking about something personal. Something between them. I didn't sign up for any of this, Jack muttered. This whole bond thing. The prophecy. I didn't ask for any of it. Xarna reached out, her hand brushing his arm in an almost tentative gesture. No one ever truly asks for destiny, Jack. It chooses us, whether we like it or not. And now you are part of something greater than yourself. Jack flinched at her touch, more out of surprise than anything else. There was an odd warmth to it, something that didn't seem entirely alien. Despite the bizarre circumstances, he felt a strange pull, as if Xarna's words had found a crack in his carefully constructed walls. But before he could react, another voice broke in. What's this? The chosen one and his chosen mate? Jack turned to see another alien challenger, this one much larger and more imposing than the others. This one had a massive set of wings and a deep, guttural voice that rumbled through the air like thunder. I challenge you again, chosen one. This time, we will settle who truly deserves to lead the people. Jack sighed heavily, his face falling. Are you kidding me? Again with the challenges? What is this, a never-ending game show? Xarna's eyes narrowed as she stepped forward, placing herself between Jack and the newcomer. You will not challenge him again. He has proven his worth. He is the one who will lead us. The winged alien grinned, his sharp teeth gleaming in the light. But has he truly proven himself? He is human. He is weak. He cannot possibly understand what it means to lead our kind. Jack's patience, which had been wearing thin for days, snapped. Oh, I understand just fine. You guys just keep throwing me into these ridiculous situations, expecting me to be some kind of hero, but I'm done. I don't want to lead anyone. I just want to go home. The winged alien let out a low chuckle. You think you can just leave? You think this is some sort of game, human? Jack's jaw clenched, and for the first time, he felt the weight of everything crash down on him. You don't get it, do you? I'm not some kind of mystical figure. I'm just a guy who got lost, who wants to get back to his normal life. I'm not here to save anyone or lead any aliens. I just want out. Xarna looked at him, her expression unreadable, before she turned back to the challenger. You will not test him again. He has already passed. He has proven his strength, his wit, his resolve. The winged alien growled in frustration, but Jack, feeling the exhaustion of the endless trials catching up to him, turned to Xarna. Is this what you wanted? For me to be some leader, some savior? Because I'm not that guy. Xarna's gaze softened, and she took a step closer to him, her voice quiet. No, Jack. I wanted you because I believe in you. You may not understand the bond now, but you will. In time, you will see what you can become, and what we can become together. Jack's heart skipped a beat. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't even know what this whole bond thing means. But I'll be honest with you, Xarna, I never thought I'd be standing here, let alone caring about anything more than my next meal. So maybe there's more to this than I thought. For the first time since he'd crash-landed, Jack didn't feel entirely alone. He didn't know if he was ready to embrace the bond, the prophecy, or the future Xarna envisioned for him. But at that moment, standing in front of her, he realized he didn't have to figure it all out right away. For now, he'd let the universe take its course.